Hello everyone. Hi, this is Bhupesh Sharma. Today we are starting a very important topic of Grafana dashboards. Last time, if you remember, we talked about Prom QL queries that are responsible for querying the time series data. So Grafana dashboard is completely built on that. We'll be discussing today how we can create Grafana dashboard, how many methods are there, and how we can do it quickly in a quick fashion because Grafana is an open source tool, and how we can quickly build dashboards on top of metrics that are coming. Okay. So if we see the possible number of options that are available with us is we can directly import the Grafana dashboard using a Grafana dashboard ID, which will be seen in a while from a official Grafana URL, or we can import an existing dashboard from any other environment via JSON completely in an automatic fashion. And finally, we can create a dashboard from scratch also. This is again a very good feature which where we can design our own panels. That is what we need. Like quick- quickly jumping onto the all the available methods. Let me show you the working demo. So as you remember that we have already spinned up Grafana on our Minikube cluster that is up and running. I can simply show it to you by port forwarding. This is up and running. So what we'll do, first of all, we will import existing dashboard. So this is my favorite, one of my favorite node exporter dashboard that is available on this link. This link is available into the description of this video. Grafana.com/Grafana and then dashboard. So all the existing dashboards that are available, you can see more than 6,800 dashboards. So this is a very, very important dashboards where it is measuring the performance of all the Kubernetes nodes that are present in your cluster, right? And how can I simply import this dashboard? You need to come here, copy this ID to clipboard, and ID is 1860. Copy this ID, come to your Grafana, you know, click on dashboards, and then click new. Okay, before I explain how to import a dashboard, there's an existing folder called as general where all the default dashboard that comes with the installation, those are present. So I'm not going to touch anything here so that everything is still clear. I'll create a new folder and I'll give a training as a folder name. Now I'll import my dashboard into that folder. So I'll import. Now I know 1860 is my import by Grafana.com. I just will simply click load. Now this is the dashboard that is going to get uploaded in this training folder. I can upload into train channel folder. I need to select a data source also. So Prometheus is the data source which is having all the metrics, the time series data. So I'll click import. Now you can see all the data has been populated pretty nicely. So you don't need to do anything else. Now we'll see all these things, pretty minutely so that you can understand what is happening. So if I do a filtration of last 30 minutes or for that matter last 3 hours, this is the load that is happening. So how many nodes we have? We have only one node because it is a Minikube single node cluster. So in your environment, you might see multiple rows here. And how these things are coming? So when you load a dashboard, there are certain inbuilt variables that are there. See, the variable, the data DS Prometheus is a variable which is storing a Prometheus as a name. Node is nothing but pulling the IP address of your node. So these variables actually used in your dashboard. Okay. Now coming back to the dashboard panels. Now these are different panels that you can simply check it. Suppose I want to see how much CPU is busy CPU. So I can hardly say that is hardly 1%. So how can I edit any particular panel? I can simply click on these three dots, click on edit, and then I'll come onto this query. Now this is a Prom QL query. So that is the reason I was explaining that Prom QL query creation. So let me explain this query again so that it becomes more clarity. So another window. I'll open Explore window where I can run all time series data, time series queries. I'll copy this piece into another empty VS Code or any favorite editor that you want. Okay, now let me divide this query so that I can understand what is happening. Now, this is a very important part to understand. If you understand one panel, then you have to create queries and you'll understand everything. Okay, Now you can see the opening brace and the closing brace. So I'll do a simply this and this. So this is my first independent query that I'll run. I'll copy this. So you can see just copying this piece and pasting it in the floor of this. Now, so what is the meaning of this query? So I'm saying this is my metric. Okay, this is my metric. And on this metric, I'm saying uh, please get the instance of filtration on the instance node in the job. And when the node is not idle, I mean it is busy, and rate interval is nothing but this filter. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just simply change this node, take this node from here. I'll discard this. This is my node value. I'll get it from here so that I don't want to do a copy paste basically. I'll just do this. I want to explain this query. There is a reason I'm okay. And the job is, I think it should be the node exporter job. Yeah, node exporter. From where the metric is coming actually. If you remember yesterday I was explaining. So this is the node exporter. Now I run this query onto my this editor. Okay, now you can see the graph. What I'm saying on this node CPU seconds total, how much for especially for this instance for this job node exporter, the system is not idle. I mean system is busy. Again, the rate function is the same function which I explained in my last video. The rate of change of metric every second, and then we are doing a for last 1 hour, and then we are doing it for grouping by instance. So since we have one instance, so we'll have only one record. See, we'll have only one record. So I can see only 0.1% is our system is I would say not idle. Now this is the not idle situation. Now I need to divide it by as we do the normal percentage. We need to divide it by uh, the overall system. Okay, because currently I've done the filtration on this job with the with not idle. I mean with system which is busy. Now we'll take it everything. Okay, so let me copy this query again. And how I can click multiple queries, I can simply add one more panel. I will simply click this icon. This will disable this query, will enable this query. Okay, and then there's a slight difference between these two queries. So if you see earlier query, I was doing it for only for mode equals to not idle. Now I'm not doing any filtration on modes. This is actually a overall performance. So I'll run this. You can see. Now I'll simply divide this thing by this so that I can get the percentage. Okay, you know the percentage, how we do it in the basic mathematics. So this is the breakdown of that query. So if I can see multiple things, see? Multiple queries in the same window. This is how I can validate my query. If I want to see this, you do this. Want to see this output of this window? See there. I can click on the table also. Now I break down these queries into multiple parts. Now this is the first part. Now you can consider this is another important section to understand. What is this? Now this is actually doing a left join on instance with these two, because these two results are actually the tables, uh, the time series table. So we need to join these two things. Ultimately, both are giving the same output, but we need to join and do that division to get the percentage. So I'm joining it on the group left is nothing but left join and joining on instance and doing that division. Okay. If you combine this query and run it, you will get this data. See 1%. See, earlier it was close to zero point 0.9. Now it is coming as 1%. So this is what it is. So let me just create one more chunk here. This is very important to understand. That is why taking a little bit more time to I'll run this complete query, hoping that should run. Okay, people who are working in Grafana, they can understand it pretty quickly. People who are new to Grafana, it will take some time, but yeah, it will settle down easily. I'll run this query. Now you can see I can clearly get the 1.07 percentage which is coming as output in one of this dashboard panel. So that is what I want to show you, that how, see, and you can see the time series graph also. Now how you can simply remove this graph. I can see the instant value, and I can remove the graph, and I can see the tabular format also. See. So you can evaluate any complex query by breaking it down and create multiple these chunks, and then understand what the query is doing. That is what I have done, and I can see this 1.07 is coming here. The moment comes at 1.07, you can simply take I can represent in gauge, I can represent in stat. See, 1.02%. I can represent in pie chart, will not make sense because it is a single value. I can present as text also, will not make sense. Yeah. So we can take anything which is actually making sense. Then I can do some kind of conditional formatting, colors, and all those things. Those things are pretty straightforward, and I can put some labels also. So since it is not putting any labels, that is okay. Since it was a single query, now let me show you an example of complex query. Now this was a busy CPU. Now let me take the memory. Okay, memory or the CPU basic. Let me edit this panel again. Now you'll see a lot of queries in this: A, B, C, D, E, F. And what they are doing, they are creating independent tables, and then putting those tables in parallel. When I say in parallel, it's assigning. It's a kind of a union of all this data. So, and how I'm giving the label. So first query label is busy system. So this is what is busy, which is close to 0.317. And then B query is nothing but your busy user. The moment I click this, 0.45. The C query is this, which is busy low weight, and so on. So if you see, they have done nothing fancy. They have created. Okay, how I can create this? If you would really want to ask, to come here. Okay, uh, that is something. The third point, how I can create a dashboard manually. So new dashboard. Forget about I'll add a visualization, and then I'll add all these queries one by one. So suppose if I add this in my A, see, I'll run this. I'll get some data now. Okay, I'll add one more B, and I can give one more thing. I can have a multiple data source also mixed. But for now, for today, let's have only single data source. I can pull in data from MySQL and Prometheus. I can do a transform, those kind of complex queries. But yeah, so B is nothing but your the second section, right? It's telling you an example that how you can simply get the data of these two. And see, now you can get two data in the same panel. That is how they are doing it into the different panel. That is what I was trying to show you. So A is nothing but first table, B is nothing but second time series data, and C is nothing but third. So independently they have created different tables, and then showing those tables into a single graph, right? Let me discard this. So if you take any other section, let me say take some storage. Okay, okay. So storage also, click on this, edit this. Similar everywhere you will find similar kind of scenarios. Taking the data source, okay, and then adding all those queries. See, they have nowhere they're using transform. So transform is something when you want to transform your data or transpose the data or do some kind of if or filtration on that data. But for now, I mean, they're using only Prometheus database data source, and these variables are fairly straightforward. You can also create these variables by coming here, variables. DS Prometheus is nothing but Prometheus data source. Node is, now this is again another important function that I was explaining in my last video, label values, and you can get those Prometheus functions here. Query functions. Yeah, you'll end up on this page. So you'll see most of the functions are defined here itself. If I come here, label values, you'll find definitely here. See, label replace label values must be there. It is not there anyway. So label replace label values, you can find it on Google, but this is a very important page where we can get all the summary related functions. Yeah, so yeah, this is pretty much about how to understand existing dashboard. That is very, very important, and how I can create a dashboard from start. Now, and I can create links also. Now they have created a link of GitHub, the Grafana dashboard. I can simply come here and read more about this dashboard, how it was created and all that. See, and a Grafana link to the Grafana dashboard. See, everywhere it is giving that proper link. The GitHub link is also there. The Grafana dashboard link is also available. The node exporter one. Yeah. So yeah, this is about uh, the first item, how to import dashboard from the existing Grafana dashboard ID. Now this dashboard is very, very important dashboard, node exportable, which will give you the length and breadth of your node, how it is performing, whether it's from CPU wise, memory wise, network traffic, and for that matter, storage wise, and networking wise also, I think. Yeah, disk read write, IO wise, storage file system, network traffic. So this is a very interesting, and we can set up alerts on top of it. So setting up alert will, we'll discuss it later. But yeah, how to create dashboards and how to understand existing dashboards that are coming from a Google or from the Grafana dashboard. That is very, very important. Suppose down the line I need to modify this, so I should be able to understand these queries, how it is being executed, how I can break it. So this, let's talk about this important dashboard also. Now in this, we need to understand the memory. Okay, so memory of this particular node. So I can see the RAM total is was nothing but your first. How I understood that it is my first query. In the A, go to options. You can see the legend RAM total. The moment you click this, you'll see close to 7.6 GB, and that is doing nothing. It is just taking the data from this metric. Okay, instance this, and node is nothing but your node exporter. A B is nothing but your how much RAM is used. So you know the total. Now you're subtracting the memory free, memory cache, and adding the buffer bytes and adding the reclaimable bytes. Third is this one, cache plus buffer. So what I'm trying to explain it here is everything is derived from the metrics, and dashboard is just a representation of that data with combining that data in whatever way we do. So you don't need to worry too much about Grafana dashboarding. Things are already available on open source on this uh, grafana.com Grafana dashboard. You need to come here and then search for your requirement. Now, if I see I want to do something related to MySQL, MySQL dashboard. Do we have anything on MySQL? Definitely, we should have MySQL duplicate, MySQL exporter, MySQL Prometheus. This is again very, very important dashboard. So since we don't have MySQL, now let's see what will happen. We don't have MySQL currently on our stack. If I try to import this, what will happen? So it will get imported, but it will give you the what I feel is nothing will be visible in any of the panel. The NANA will come, but the data dashboard has been imported. Why NA has been coming? Because there's no data, there's no metric related to MySQL, right? So if you have MySQL in your cluster or in your application, you can simply import this dashboard and then customize it according to your need. So that is the reason this URL is very, very helpful for importing any dashboard. This is all about explaining your first item. Now import the dashboard via JSON. Now what happens? Suppose one of your colleagues in your team have created a very important dashboard, very beautiful dashboard that you need to import it directly uh, to your environment. So what you'll do? Suppose this is that dashboard. You come here and then you click on this settings icon. You come on this JSON model. You do a control A, or you can save it, save as. And no, basically you need to export it as JSON. But anyway, let me do a control A, control C. Then I need to import this entire JSON as a dashboard. That's the beauty of, because all these dashboards are templated, there will be no error. So I'll come here, I'll import this. Now instead I can simply import a JSON also, or I can simply paste this JSON like this. See, I'll do a load. Now this dashboard is already present in my URL. So I'll just give a different name. I'll change this unique identifier ID, and then I'll simply import it to my training folder. See, now the same dashboard has been imported again onto different folder with different name with different ID. So this is the second way of importing a dashboard from a JSON, which is again a very important thing to understand and how it can be imported. The third and the last important thing, which very every developer will resist to do it, because creating a dashboard from scratch is not a easy task. But still, how you can do it? You can simply click on this. You can actually import a panel which is being already created on some other dashboard, or you can simply add a visualization. Now, adding a visualization, as I told you, you can simply take any query. Like for that matter, I'm taking this query. Okay, where's my panel? Yeah, this is the panel. And I'll run this. I'll get some data. Instead of time series, I want to check it in bar chart. Okay, I can do like this. I can do gauge also, or simply suppose not like this. Whatever it makes sense. Let me. What was this value? Run, and let me take bar chart, or maybe let me take a flat convert now. I can simply click, give some meaningful name, test